What's up, y'all? We are doing what Real Housewives of Potomac, season 9, episode 9, Mediation Nation. So the episode picks back up with Mia saying, about the fathers of her kids, and of course she does that for shock value. So then she goes to explain to the ladies how she was talking about Gordon and her oldest son's father, not Ink, but you knew what you were alluding to, but I'm over it. So at this point, Mia's over everybody, talking to her and telling her anything about her situation, but you keep putting it out there. No matter what, it's you keep throwing this stuff out there. I'm over it. So Wendy's telling the ladies that she's getting a governor's citation, and we see that's getting ready to happen. Before that happens, they was like, are you getting a proclamation? She was like, no, I'm getting a governor's citation. So while she's being presented, you can hear Ashley and Stacy talking about their mediation, and I was just like, okay, it is what it is. So then we see Stacy talking to TJ, and of course he's being off-putting, rude as he want to be. And then I want to say, the next day, Ashley, Giselle, and Karen meets with Stacy. They go into another space in the house. Ashley, Giselle, Karen, and they talk to Stacy about her upcoming mediation. Giselle tells her that she needs to protect herself from her soon-to-be ex-husband. Giselle also tells Stacy to write down what she wants and give it to her lawyer, because what the men present, isn't what they are about when it's time for mediation. A lot of things change. So Karen tells Stacy to hide her new relationship. There is no way that you should be flaunting it. But I do remember Stacy saying that he's also in some type of relationship too. Now, although that is to be true, sometimes people can be a bit vindictive, but Stacy was saying she know him and that things are, he's not going to do this to her and yada, yada, yada. So we'll see. So then we get to the next part with Wendy and Eddie introducing their kids to Eddie's siblings. Y'all, this part was so beautiful. His sister was crying and Wendy was crying. It was a lot, and you can see Wendy's real emotions in that part. So I was really here for that. Wish his parents could have been there, but hey, hopefully we'll get to see them. Anyway, in the next scene, we see Giselle and Grace. They're eating ice cream. They talk about her first year at FAMU, because y'all know she went to FAMU. She also talks about the twins and how one of the twins may not be okay with going off to college being by herself, simply because she's a twin. And then they talk about, she also tells them how the twins helped her when she got the phone call about her dad, and that they called Jamal. Jamal helped her get a plane ticket. She just couldn't do it, and the girls really stepped in and helped her out. So we get to Dean's house Dean's, the same thing. We get to Ashley's house, and we see Dean and Dylan back on the counter with no shoes on. Girl, she's on her way to her mediation. Wasn't really much to that, but we finally meet Greg, Kiana and Greg. At this point, I'm sure Greg is going to work on my nerves. It's something about him that he seems condescending to Kay. I don't know. It's just something about him that's really off-putting, condescending, and rude AF towards Kay. Kay says, she talks about the fight that happened last year between her and Deborah, whatever that girl name is, and that she talks about how he wanted her to end the relationships from this group of women. I'm thinking maybe the show, because of the fight. I get his concern, but sometimes when I think sometimes men say that because they really don't want the women on those shows, because they themselves don't want to be on there for whatever personal reasoning. You have that right, but I feel like it's something more to that. Y'all, Greg really rubs me the wrong way. I like the husbands on here. I liked all of the husbands. I liked Chris. I like the other Chris. I love Eddie. I like Eddie. Ray is my all-time favorite, y'all. I don't know. I love Ray. I like Gordon. I just think he's a little weird, but I never liked Michael. Never. Not ever. Not ever. But this Greg, I don't know. It is still up in the air, but I'm going to leave it there. So all the ladies meet up, and Stacey talks about her mediation. She said there was a lot of things that she didn't know because he has always paid the bills. She hasn't paid bills. She hasn't done any of those things in about 15 years. So she's finding that he has several accounts in different places. She had things in her name, and I was just like, no, ma'am, Pam. I'm not giving anybody that much access to me where I have to solely depend on you. No, if we ain't sitting there together writing out a check, me and you ain't online trying to pay these bills, sir, we both need to be in some sort of agreement. We both need to be looking at things. We both need to be looking at statements. But guess what? I ain't never been married, and that's probably why. Anyway, Ashley says her mediation with her and Michael wasn't the best. They talked about Michael gonna be able to have Dean and Dylan for 10 days a month. Every month he's gonna have them for 10 days. He talks about she tells us about a confidentiality clause where she cannot discuss Michael on the show. I don't think anybody can discuss Michael on the show. But she was like, no. So that's the one thing she doesn't want to discuss. And I just kind of feel like you've done a lot of dirt. You haven't been on this show in some years. We are happy about that because Ashley should have been fired just due to you and your frustration, your antics. I'm sorry, not frustration, your antics. But we really don't care about you like that. We barely care about Ashley like that, but we just gonna let her have it. So we see Karen and Raven. Raven took a quick trip to Maryland, DC, or wherever they are, Potomac, to meet with Karen for lunch. I was like, at this point, it is really giving, let me just polish up my act. Let me polish myself up due to this DUI situation. So whenever they're eating in a restaurant, Karen makes sure she's not drinking. I like Karen, but I feel like all of this is just for a scene and for a show so she can clean herself up for this, everything regarding this DUI. Raven's not dating, but she's doing well at Amazon in her marketing department. So kudos to that. It wasn't really much to talk about. Karen was just telling her how mean everybody, how messy some of the women were, and Raven put in her 2 cents, and it was just that. So Mia is at a boutique. She's waiting for Jacqueline, and Jacqueline's Bob. That was a mess. And she's telling the boutique owner that her friend needs some help in dressing, and the outfit selections that Jacqueline had on was a whole hot mess. Both of them, especially that gray piece. She was better in that black and white Beetlejuice looking outfit she had on, but that was still ugly. So whatever. And Mia, you don't dress well yourself, so I don't know if you get your stuff from the stripper boutique 101, but ma'am, you're not that girl. You are not that fashionista. And then you try to talk about Giselle. Yeah, we know Giselle not a fashionista. She knows she's not a fashionista, but you, no ma'am. And let's not talk about this outfit you currently have on Watch What Happens Live. Child, please. You got that from the stripper's barn. Anyway, Mia again talks about Gordon. I dismissed that. She also said she was pissed off with Giselle for how Giselle was really questioning her and going in on her. And I felt like Giselle was asking the right questions. And once again, y'all really got me siding with Giselle this entire season. Thank God for removals. Anyway, I don't feel like Giselle did anything wrong. You keep putting out all of this stuff. Your husband is putting out all of this stuff, and you would kind of expect people not to ask questions. That's insane if you ask me, but whatever. So Ashley and Brent are at an organization called New Hope. It's outreach for homeless people. And Wendy and Karen shows up, and y'all, Wendy and Karen gonna always give a look. Stacy shows up with her daughter. Giselle shows up, and it's a good time. So Mia shows up, and she tells Giselle that she had words for her. Giselle is confused. She was like, you got smoke for me, but you don't seem to have smoke for your situation, but you got smoke for me. But all right, girl, whatever. And then we see Ashley walking down the side of the building like she's Spider-Man, but we're gonna let her have it. So Mia talks to Giselle. I guess call herself trying to check Giselle about what was happening, and then Mia put her daughter out there on blast. Say you caught while it was in the DR. Was it the DR? You caught your daughter sneaking a boy in, and Giselle was like, what? And then she realized, oh yeah, she saw a boy coming through the Ring camera. But at the end of the day, that's not the point. Clock Giselle on something that she's actually doing. But for you to bring her daughter in, you are really a piece of work. I cannot with Mia. I just cannot, because them two situations, whatever. And anyway, they're older girls, and I'm pretty sure she was talking about the oldest girl, about Grace. Grace probably was 17, 18 or whatever. And it seemed like her girls have her head on straight, way more straighter than your grown seem to be. Baby, when she talked about my daughter, I would have popped Mia in her mouth so fast, but everybody not about that life. So Karen says, y'all, Karen called Mia's situation a pimp village. I was like, wow. Not a pimp village. And so Jizzy says she's taking it all in. And when she does, she will react. So we already know how Giselle finna get once all of this stuff, she sit with all of this stuff. And whatever she give her is whatever she give her. Other than that, this is where the episode ends. It wasn't really much to the episode. It just wasn't. For me, maybe for somebody else, but for me, I really tried to stretch the episode out, but I just could not, y'all. I could not. But going off, tomorrow is my birthday. Okay, tomorrow is my birthday. I am going to be 42. But that's all I wanted to say about that. Anyway, before y'all run out of here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and even hit the notification bell button so y'all can see whenever I drop something new. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.